Welcome back to The Story Of, where we talk about the early years of your favorite creators and how they became the YouTube stars that you know today. In this video, we're going to be talking about the story of the popular rising Canadian YouTube star, Joana Ceddia, and how her genuine personality, equipped with her sarcasm and wit, was able to gain her over 2.8 million subscribers. Also, a bonus question for the true Joana Ceddia fans. What languages can Joana speak? The answer will be at the end of this video. Joana Ceddia was born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil on June 21, 2001. At the time Joana was born, both her parents would be working towards their PhDs. By all accounts, Joana was a normal baby, but she would always cry frantically if she ever left her parents' side, which made sleeping difficult for both her and her parents. At around 6 months old, Joana had a bad allergic reaction to coconut water. It was at that time her parents discovered that she was allergic to nuts. Joana would spend the first year of her life living in Brazil. At around 1.5, Joana's father would take on a job in Toronto, Ontario, Canada as a university professor teaching food and nutrition. Joana would live with her parents on the campus of the university that her father worked at until they would eventually find an apartment to live in. When Joana was around 4, her family would move into an apartment in Toronto. Around first grade, Joana's mother would enroll her in ballet school, and she would excel in ballet. So much so that she would get accepted into Canada's National Ballet School. Her ballet career would be short-lived though, because she would eventually lose interest. At this time, Joana's school was less than ideal, and both her and her mother decided it was time for a change. Joana's mother would find another school to enroll her in for the 2nd grade. It was much better than her previous school, and it happened to be an IB school, which stands for International Baccalaureate, which essentially is a school that is known to have stronger academics than a regular public school. Being at a new school didn't bother Joana at all. In fact, she loved it, and she would make lots of new friends. From grades 2 to 4, Joana's love for track and field would blossom. She would start playing the piano, and most importantly, Joana would start competitive swimming, which, as you probably know, she would stick with throughout high school. Around this time, Joana would grow obsessed with Webkinz, and while she was busy on the computer taking care of her new virtual pet, she would also play around with iMovie. She would add all sorts of crazy effects to the video she would record, and she would start to get very familiar with the program. Around 5th grade, Joana's parents enrolled her in Kumon, which is the famous after-school tutor program kids go to for extra one-on-one attention for certain subjects in school, specifically in Joana's case, math. Needless to say, she would remain in the program for several years, and she would become quite good at math. Around this time, Joana was becoming very committed to swimming, as she would find herself practicing around 5 times per week. In the 6th grade, Joana would get her first taste at social media, as she would end up creating her first Instagram account, which would eventually get deleted by her mother after she found it. Joana would have a less than favorable time in junior high, as she would end up being bullied both at school and online. It would bother her quite a bit and cause her to always feel angry. Luckily, around the same time, she would ramp up her competitive swimming to around 9 times per week, which would act as an outlet to release some of her anger. Life went on for Joana. Between school, swimming, Kumon, and track and field, that year she was really keeping herself busy. She worked very hard and would excel in all aspects of her life. This was also a very important year for Joana, as she would start watching YouTube and begin getting familiar with the platform. The bullying would eventually subside, and she was able to move past it and on to the next chapter of her life, high school. For grade 9 and 10, Joana would completely stop swimming and focus on running track and field and cross country. She would run often with her team, but she would notice she would get injured quite a bit. Between running and her heavy school workload, Joana didn't really have time to be on YouTube, so she was never on it. She would take an art class, which she would really enjoy, and ironically, it would be art that would ultimately be the topic of her first YouTube video. In grade 11, Joana would pick up swimming again, and she managed to win 2 OFSA gold medals that year, which is very impressive considering at that level the competition is very stiff. Although Joana would excel that year in swimming, running didn't go nearly as well. She was warming up for track season and injured her Achilles tendon. It was pretty bad, and it meant no running at all for a while. This also meant that Joana needed to recover and stay off her feet, so during recovery, to keep herself busy, she decided to start a YouTube channel. Joana would post a video of her painting as her first video, then a thrift shopping haul, and from there, a video thanking her first subscriber ever. which, funny enough, that person would actually end up unsubscribing from her. Her videos weren't even getting 100 views at that time. It would be her video of her cutting her own hair and the video of her DIYing Emma Chamberlain's merch that would ultimately get her on recommended and get her a ton of views and subscribers. From there, her channel would snowball and her views per video and subscribers would grow rapidly. She would land on the trending page, which would gain her 100,000 subscribers in a week. A month later, in October 2018, Joana would hit 1 million subscribers. From DIYing a Christmas tree costume to turning herself into Shrek, she would continue to post funny and quirky videos that were always well received. She would hit 2 million subscribers in March of 2019, and she is currently on track to hit 3 million subscribers very soon. In April of 2019, she would release merch featuring a sweater, and she would later release a trinket box that will ship mid-September. Joana graduated from high school June of this year, and she plans to go to university this September where she wants to major in physics and astronomy. She attended VidCon in July of this year and got to meet a lot of her newfound fans. She collabed with Brad Mondo, a popular hair YouTuber, in August, where she would land on the trending page once again. Her channel continues to grow with no signs of slowing down. I think most of us can agree that Joana Ceddia was the overnight YouTube success story that we all needed. Her genuine, wacky, and sarcastic personality has brought about a lot of laughs to the YouTube community, and her future is looking very bright. In fact, brighter than her sunglasses can handle. Joana is a reminder to us that if you try not to take life too serious and just be yourself, people will gravitate to you. Joana is here to stay, and we're excited to continue to watch her grow. Oh, by the way, the 3 languages Joana can speak are English, a bit of French, and Portuguese. Thanks for sticking around. Check out some of our other videos in the Story of series.